Today's topic of discussion is how to score well in law examination or how to get good marks in law examination. Sometimes what happens, we study a lot for our exam. We study for hours, we study for months, and still we cannot score well in the examination. What could be the reason? So let us go through it. Number one reason is expectations. When we examiners, we check your answer sheet, we expect certain things from you, right? We expect certain basic content in your answer sheet. Let me explain this concept in detail. When we bake a cake, we need certain basic things. Number one thing is all-purpose flour. Second thing is sugar. Third, we need butter, we need milk, and last thing, we need some rising agent like baking soda. So these are the basic or essential ingredients. Now, you can go beyond the basics and you can put some essence in the cake, you can put some cream in the cake, you can do some icing on the top of the cake, you can put a cherry on the top of the cake, you can put some chocolate chips on the cake. So these are the additional ingredients. Similarly, when we check your answer sheet, we expect basic things for passing. And if you want to score, if you want to go beyond passing, then we need something more from you. So you have to go beyond the basics and you have to provide little bit extra in your answer. So what is that extra and what is that basic? Let us understand. When you write your answer, you should follow a pattern in your mind. So what is that pattern? First thing is introduction. So you should begin with the introduction to a topic. Like, this is about this concept and let us see this concept. Then you have to talk about origin of the concept, like from where this concept came in your legal system. Then if it is about section or if it is about article or about a particular concept, you have to write it as it is. And then one by one you have to break the concept and you have to write all the ingredients one by one. Then you have to explain those ingredients, right? Then afterwards you have to find judicial support to those ingredients of your concept or ingredients of your article, like judicial opinion on that. After that, next point will be criticism. So do you want to criticize it? Or is it criticized by our judicial system, or it is criticized by other countries' judicial system and all. Then after that, you can support it with additional opinions like how this concept evolved from this to this, right? And then you should be concluding the answer beautifully. If you keep that pattern in your mind, like introduction, then origin, then the concept as it, then breaking down that concept and explaining it one by one, then judicial opinion on the concept, then evolution of that concept from past times till present times, and then conclusion. That's it. If you can bring these contents or these ingredients in your answer, you can score really well in law examination. Now, second thing, while studying, keep this pattern in your mind. So fix this pattern in your brain. If there is a question, my answer will go through all these ingredients from introduction to conclusion. So while reading, read about the origin. Once you realize it, stop reading and move on to the next point. This gives you a habit of selective learning and selective writing, because that pattern is fixed in your brain that I have to go from introduction till conclusion. So once you see the origin, you fix that concept in your brain. Then you move on to the next point, like what is the definition. And that's how you go into the habit of selective reading. And it is really helpful. So first, fix this pattern in your brain. That is, these are the basic ingredients I'm going to include in my answer. And keep this pattern in your brain and then read your law books so that your brain will select whatever is needed for a perfect answer. After that, make charts if necessary. For example, every subject needs some case laws. That is the thing which you are required to remember. Make some charts and put them in your room. For every subject, suppose 15 to 20 case laws are there, then stick those sheets in your room and keep reviewing them every day so that it will not go out of your mind. While studying for case, you are not required to write year of a case or that citation. Just name of the case is enough. After that, facts are not required. You are not supposed to go in each and every fact of a case, just principle of the case and reason for that decision or judgment. That's it. After, yes, principle. And then while writing your answer sheet, see how much time is there and how many questions are there, and then do the mathematical calculation and decide a time for every question. Read every question carefully and then make a pattern in your brain, like I want to solve this question through these points. So first write down those points and one by one address to each and every point. Now, there are some common mistakes which law students make. What are those? I'll give you an example. If question is asked on definition of a state, what usually students do? They directly jump to the definition of state, that Article 12 provides about the definition of state. These are the ingredients, and then sometimes they keep repeating the same thing again and again. Sometimes if the question is like whether judiciary is a state or not, students never write about it. They just write about the definition of state. If the question is about what are the other authorities, still they write about the definition of state. If there is a question whether state electricity board is a state or not, still law students write the same answer, definition of state. Don't do that. What you are going to do, if there is a question on state, okay, write introduction, then about the origin, then one by one all the ingredients. There are 4 ingredients of the definition of state. One by one explain each and everything. Then judicial opinion about it, how the concept evolved, and then conclude. So, and if the question is upon whether judiciary is a state, do not forget to answer to that question. Obviously, you will write about state, but try to write about or try to address the exact question which is there in the question paper. Lots of time students make that mistake, and that's where they lose their marks. So if these basic ingredients are there in each and every answer, they get full marks. So that's the difference between passing and scoring. So if you really want to score well, keep this pattern in your mind and then study accordingly. Go into that habit of selective reading and then selective answering. You will really score well in your examination. So that's it for the day. Stay tuned till my next lecture. My next lecture is going to be on theory of separation of powers, followed by definition of state and then judicial review. So stay tuned till my next lecture. Goodbye and good luck.